Listen to me, you didn't go through all of that pain just to stop here. You didn't climb that mountain, bleed on that battlefield, cry yourself to sleep all those nights, just to throw it away now. You've carried scars that no one sees. You've fought battles that no one clapped for, and yet, here you are still breathing, still standing, still fighting. I know it hurts. I know it's heavy. I know there are days you want to disappear into the dark and pretend none of this ever happened. But you can't because you've come too far, because you've already paid the price in blood, sweat, and tears. Every step you've taken, every sacrifice you've made, it's been building you. You've survived things that would have broken a weaker soul. You've endured storms that would have swallowed someone else whole. And now is the part where most people quit, not because they can't go on, but because they forget why they started. So remember. Remember the nights you prayed for this chance. Remember the fire in your chest when you told yourself, I will make it. Remember the promise you made to that broken version of you, the one who was on their knees begging for change. That promise matters. You matter, so you keep moving. Crawl if you have to. Limp if you have to. But keep moving forward. Because one day soon, you're going to look back at this moment, the moment you almost gave up, and you'll thank yourself for pushing through. Not just because you won, but because you proved to yourself that quitting was never an option. You've come too far to quit, and the finish line, it's closer than you think. You didn't endure pain and struggle just to stop now. You didn't wake up on days you could barely move, force yourself to keep going, and push through the heaviness in your chest, just to walk away. You didn't survive nights where you felt like the world was closing in, where tears soaked your pillow and your body ached from holding everything inside, just to let it all go to waste. You didn't fight battles that no one even knows about, the silent wars in your mind, the storms you weathered alone just to give up when the finish line is getting closer. You've already walked through fire. You've already carried weights that would crush most people. You've already bled for this, cried for this, sacrificed for this. Every late night, every early morning, every moment you chose discipline over comfort, it all mattered. It has been building you. It has been shaping you. It has been preparing you for the moment when you're tested the most. And that moment is now. This is where most people quit. Not because they can't keep going, but because they've forgotten why they started. Don't let that be you. Remember what it took to get here. Remember the version of you who prayed for an opportunity, who begged for change, who promised themselves they would never waste another chance. That promise still matters. That person still matters. You owe it to them. You owe it to yourself. When you feel tired, remember the strength you've already shown. When you feel weak, remember the storms you've already survived. When your mind says you can't, remind it that you already have again and again. This pain you feel right now is not a signal to stop. It's a signal that you're breaking through. It means you're close. It means all the nights you wanted to quit but didn't are about to pay off. The struggle has been the training ground. The suffering has been the sharpening of your sword. And every single step has been proof that you are capable of more than you believe. Your scars are proof of battles won, even if no one else saw them. They are the silent evidence of every moment you stood your ground when the world tried to push you down. They are the marks left behind by nights you didn't think you'd survive, but somehow you did. Some people will never understand what you went through to get them. They didn't see the moments you were breaking inside, but chose to smile anyway. They didn't hear the words you swallowed instead of speaking, because you didn't have the strength to explain your pain. They didn't feel the weight you carried when it felt like the entire world was on your shoulders. But you know the story behind each scar. You know the battle you fought, the fear you faced, the tears you shed. You know the courage it took to keep walking when your legs felt like they would give out. These scars are not signs of weakness. They are signs that you refuse to be defeated. They are proof that no matter how hard you were hit, you got back up. Each scar carries a lesson. Each scar carries a moment in time when you could have stayed down but didn't. They are the trophies of survival, earned in silence, carried with pride. Not everyone will notice them. Not everyone will understand the wars you fought, but that's okay. You didn't survive for their applause. You survived for you. These scars are reminders that you can endure more than you thought possible. They are the physical and invisible map of where you've been and what you've overcome. They whisper the truth in your ear when doubt tries to creep in. You've done this before. You can do it again. When you look at them, you don't see pain anymore. You see proof that you've been through the fire and made it out stronger. Proof that even when no one else was watching, you were still fighting. Proof that you are not the same person who first stepped into the battle. You are wiser, tougher, unshakable. Every challenge has been shaping you into who you need to be. Every obstacle you faced was never there to destroy you, it was there to build you. Every setback was a lesson in disguise. Every disappointment was redirecting you towards something better. Even when it felt like life was breaking you, it was actually molding you. Every struggle was carving strength into your bones. Every failure was planting resilience in your heart. Every moment you thought you couldn't go on, but did anyway, was proof that you were becoming stronger than you ever imagined. The challenges weren't random. They were designed to prepare you for the weight of what's coming. You can't carry greatness with untested shoulders. You can't lead without first knowing what it's like to be lost. You can't truly value peace without first walking through storms. Every difficult season has been chiseling away the parts of you that couldn't survive where you're headed. Every moment of pain was removing the weakness you didn't even know you had. Every delay was teaching you patience. Every closed door was showing you that you were meant to find another way. The moments you thought were breaking you were actually shaping you. Shaping your mindset, shaping your spirit, shaping your character. It's in the hardest days that you learn the deepest truths about yourself. You learn what you can endure. You learn who you can trust. You learn that you are far more capable than you ever gave yourself credit for. Every challenge has been sharpening your vision so you can see clearly when opportunity comes. Every test has been strengthening your resolve so you can hold on when it matters most. Every trial has been building a foundation that nothing can shake. You are not the same person you were before those battles. You think differently. You stand differently. You carry yourself with a quiet power because you've been through enough to know your worth. Every challenge has been shaping you into the person you need to be for the life you've been fighting for. Most people quit right before the break. Don't be one of them. It's in the final stretch where the weight feels the heaviest. It's when you've been pushing for so long without seeing results that the temptation to stop becomes the loudest. It's when your body is tired, your mind is drained, and your heart whispers, maybe this isn't worth it. That's the moment most people give in. They walk away not knowing how close they were to the finish line. They stop digging just inches away from the gold. They give up when one more step could have changed everything. The truth is, the breakthrough doesn't come when it's easy. It comes when you've pushed past every limit you thought you had. It comes when you've endured every setback and still refused to stay down. It comes when you've kept going long enough for the pressure to turn into power. That's why so few people ever see it, because it requires holding on when everything in you wants to let go. Your breakthrough is often hiding behind the moment you feel like you can't take another step. That's why this part matters the most. This is where champions are made. This is where the difference between success and regret is decided. You've already come too far to quit now. You've already paid the price in effort, time, and sacrifice. Don't let all of that be for nothing because you stopped too soon. The pain you're feeling is not a sign to stop, it's a sign that you're about to cross over. The struggle is the signal, the exhaustion is the evidence. It means you're on the edge of the very thing you've been fighting for. Most people will never see that edge because they turn back before they reach it. But you're not most people. You didn't start this journey to quit halfway. You started it to win, so hold on, push a little longer, give just one more step, one more try, one more fight, because your breakthrough could be waiting on the other side of the moment you almost gave up. Remember why you started and the sacrifices you've already made. There was a reason you began this journey. There was a vision in your heart, a fire in your soul, a goal so important that you were willing to step into the unknown to chase it. You made a promise to yourself that you would see it through. You knew it wouldn't be easy, but you said yes anyway. You've already poured your time, your energy, and your heart into this. You've already endured sleepless nights, long days, and moments when it felt like you were running on empty. You've given up comfort. You've walked away from distractions. You've missed out on things others enjoyed because you were focused on building something bigger. You've carried the weight of discipline when the easier choice was to quit. You've stood alone at times when no one believed in you, holding on to nothing but your own determination. You've been through storms that could have knocked you off course, but you kept moving forward. You faced voices of doubt from others and from inside your own head, but you kept believing in the possibility. You've already paid too much to turn around now. Think about every challenge you've pushed through to get here. Think about the strength you've built along the way. Think about the moments when quitting would have been easier, but you chose to keep going. Those sacrifices were not made for nothing. They were the stepping stones that brought you to this point. They were the foundation for the future you're fighting for. If you give up now, you don't just lose what's ahead, you lose everything you've already fought for. Don't let temporary frustration erase years of progress. Don't let a moment of weakness undo a lifetime of effort. Remember the dream that woke you up early. Remember the vision that kept you working late. Remember the fire that made you believe this was possible in the first place. You started for a reason, you sacrificed for a reason, and that reason is worth every single step you've taken. Hold on to the promises you made to yourself in your lowest moments. Those were not casual words. They were not empty declarations you made when life was easy. They were vows you spoke when you were broken, when you were desperate, when you were clinging to hope like it was the only thing keeping you alive. In those dark moments, you told yourself you would never go back to that place. You told yourself you would fight for something better. You swore that no matter how hard it got, you wouldn't stop until you turned your pain into strength. Those promises came from a place of truth, from the raw, unfiltered version of you that had nothing left to hide. They came from the part of you that knew change wasn't optional, it was necessary. And now, in the moments when you feel like quitting, those promises matter more than ever. Because they are reminders of why you started. They are the anchors that keep you steady when the waves get high. They are the unshakable commitments you made to your future self. You didn't make them lightly. You made them through tears, through fear, through nights that felt endless. You made them because you knew the life you wanted was worth the fight. And breaking them now would mean betraying the very person who needed you the most, the version of you who was praying for strength, begging for a way out, and trusting that you would deliver. Don't turn your back on them. Don't silence the voice that once told you, "I will not give up." You owe it to yourself to keep going until those promises are fulfilled, even if the road is hard, even if the progress feels slow, even if no one else believes you can do it. Hold onto them tighter than ever when the world tries to pull them away from you. Let them be the reason you take one more step when your legs are shaking. Let them be the fire that keeps burning even when everything around you feels cold. Because those promises were not just words, they were a lifeline. And lifelines are meant to be held on to until you reach the shore. Your perseverance today will be the story that inspires you tomorrow. The moments you push through now will one day be the moments you look back on with pride. The struggles you are facing will become the proof that you were stronger than your circumstances. One day, you'll remember the nights you stayed up, the mornings you forced yourself to rise, the times you fought with everything you had when it felt like you had nothing left. And you'll realize that those moments were shaping you into the person you always wanted to be. The pain you feel today will become the victory you celebrate tomorrow. The challenges you face now will be the reason you walk with more confidence, more strength, and more unshakable belief in yourself. You will tell the story of how you didn't quit when it would have been easier to walk away. You will remember the days you felt invisible, unnoticed, and overlooked, and how you kept going anyway. You will think about the battles no one else saw, the tears you cried in silence, and the weight you carried alone. And instead of feeling broken, you'll feel proud. Proud that you didn't let the pain define you. Proud that you didn't let the struggle stop you. Proud that you kept showing up for yourself, even when no one else was watching. Every step you take now, no matter how small, is part of that story. Every choice to move forward instead of giving up is another chapter in your legacy. You are living the part of your life that will one day remind you what you're capable of. When you face something hard in the future, you'll remember this season and think, if I got through that, I can get through this too. Your perseverance will be your own evidence. It will be the fuel that keeps you moving when life tests you again. So keep going, even when it's slow. Keep pushing, even when it's hard. Keep believing, even when it feels impossible. Because the fight you're in today is not just about surviving this moment. It's about creating the story that will inspire you for the rest of your life. Quitting erases the value of all your past efforts and pain. Every step you've taken, every sacrifice you've made, every sleepless night and early morning, it all disappears the moment you give up. All the hours you spent working when no one else was watching. All the times you pushed through exhaustion just to take one more step. All the moments you held on when you could have let go. They lose their meaning if you stop now. Because quitting doesn't just end the journey, it erases the purpose behind everything you've already endured. The struggles you've faced weren't for nothing. They were the investment you made in your future. They were the price you paid to get this far. If you walk away now, you're throwing away not just the goal, but the blood, sweat, and tears that got you here. You've already endured pain. You've already been tested. You've already proven that you can keep going when it's hard. Quitting would mean all of that was wasted. It would mean every setback you overcame, every fear you faced, every doubt you silenced, all of it would fade as if it never happened. The truth is, you didn't suffer for nothing. You didn't fight through storms just to turn around before the sun came out. You didn't pay this high a price to walk away empty-handed. Your pain has value. Your effort has value, your progress has value, but only if you keep moving forward. When you refuse to quit, every tear, every scar, every sleepless night becomes part of your victory. It transforms the pain into purpose. It turns the struggle into strength. It makes every single hardship worth it. If you give up, that transformation never happens. If you give up, all you're left with is the pain with nothing to show for it. But if you keep going, you give meaning to everything you've been through. You prove that it wasn't just suffering, it was preparation. And the reward waiting for you will make every step, every sacrifice, and every moment of struggle worth it in the end. Victory is often closer than it feels. Push a little longer. There are moments in the fight when it seems like nothing is changing. You've been pushing, working, sacrificing, and still the finish line feels out of sight. That's when doubt creeps in. That's when your mind starts whispering that maybe it's too far, maybe it's too late, maybe it's not meant for you. But that's the trick of the journey. The hardest part often comes right before the breakthrough. The final stretch always feels the heaviest. The climb feels steeper. The air feels thinner. And every step feels harder than the one before. It's not because you're failing. It's because you're closer than you think. The pressure builds before the moment of release. The storm rages the loudest before the sky clears. You may not be able to see it yet, but you are steps away from the moment everything changes. Push a little longer. Give a little more. Hold on when every part of you wants to let go. You've already carried yourself this far. You've already proven you can take hit after hit and still stand. Don't stop now. Not when the reward you've been chasing could be around the next corner. Victory doesn't always announce its arrival. It often comes quietly, after a series of days where you thought you were making no progress at all. Then suddenly, something clicks, the doors open, the pieces fall into place. And all the struggle you've been through makes perfect sense, but you will never see that moment if you turn back too soon. So when it feels impossible, remind yourself this might be the very last test before it happens. This might be the final push before the win you've been waiting for. The finish line might be closer than you can imagine. Push through the discomfort, push through the doubt, push through the exhaustion. Because when you finally get there, you'll realize that the hardest part wasn't the distance, it was believing you could make it.